TLC has long provided us with shows about polygamy in which one man seeks multiple female partners. Viewers have long wanted to see what it would look like if the shoe was on the other foot. Could the ladies be less messy when taking multiple partners? Seeking Brother Husband has entered the chat, and my husband Matt is joining me today to discuss episodes 1 through 3. Let's discuss. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah.
And me, Matt.
And welcome back to my channel.
It's our channel.
For today.
Just for today.
So Seeking Brother Husbands is receiving mixed reviews from what I've seen. Some people, it's a little too cringe for them.
I think it's receiving mixed reviews from the brother husbands as well.
Yeah. The
If I'm being
lifestyle,
honest
the
with you.
lifestyle is not for all of the men on the show. That is for sure. From stories that have leaked online, I don't know if how much interweb sleuthing you've been doing, but most of the couples featured on this show are actually polyamorous. So the dudes all have their own partners as well. Did you know that?
I did not.
Okay.
They don't bill it that way.
Okay.
At least the show doesn't seem to want to tell you that that's the way
don't
it
think
is.
Mike has a lady love
I'm
other than
certain.
Elisa, but he deserves one.
I'm certain he needs a lady love other
than Elisa. I would imagine that this is a hard show to cast for. How many women are truly seeking multiple partners when the man is not interested in also doing that?
Well, and I also would think it'd be hard for people, the men engaging in this lifestyle. I don't necessarily think they're the kind of people that want to broadcast what's going on. Some of them, notwithstanding, ponytail turtle necklace fella.
Dustin, I was just going to say, not everyone is Dustin.
Some people are made for this
Dustin
lifestyle.
wrote the book.
But and for the record, I am not great with names, so I will often refer to people by what they wear sometimes on the show. But yeah, I don't think that these men would necessarily be wanting to broadcast the lifestyle. Anyways, I don't know. I'm not a hyper masculine kind of dude, but it seems emasculate. It seems like one person is always being at least emasculated in that relationship. Like there doesn't seem a whole level of equality happening.
It's an interesting dynamic. It's interesting in a different way than one man, multiple women polygamy, which we're very familiar with from watching many TLC shows.
Which has its own sets of ebbs and flows, but at least, I don't know, that's more mainlined, I guess.
Well, on those, they always state a purpose, right? To have, if it's religious place, to have multiple kids, camaraderie amongst the women, if the men work a lot. There's all these stated benefits. Do you see benefits for the men on this show?
I see benefits for...
Carl seems like a friend to all.
Well, that's with Tiger.
Yeah.
So
in Kenya.
That relationship seems to be like a tiered system.
Mm-hmm.
I won't even say she as much as said it. She flat out said it. She's like, well, I'm with you, and then I don't really love you anymore. The fire goes out, so I find somebody else, but I don't want to deal with the whole not being around you every once in a while. And now she's doing that with...
she'll get you your own room, though.
Right.
So that's nice.
We need to buy a new house. It's time for you to get your own room, sweetie.
Time for Tiger to have his own room. So the show features 4 family units, I guess we will call them. I want to start off with the lifestyle veterans who have been doing this the longest, which is Kenya, Carl, and Tiger.
Yeah, they are a prime example of something.
Well, okay, so just some statistics, and we both took notes. I'm so proud of you,
I have
Dubs.
some notes. I'm mostly reactive. So.
Well, I'm still proud of you.
I definitely said she is the poster child of the show.
Okay, so Kenya and Carl have been married for 26 years, and they have 3 adult children together. Kenya and Tiger have been a couple for 10 years. The drama here in this situation is that Kenya and Tiger have kind of been bickering for, I don't know, they say the last several months on the show. Kenya thinks the solution to this problem is for her to take another lover. Tiger thinks they should get married.
Yeah, this is such an awkward storyline to follow because obviously Kenya is straight up like, I'm diving in head first into relationship numero tres. Like we're going head first into it. The first guy is, what's his name again?
Carl.
Carl is totally content, wants to go play his video games, sit in his own room, have his good time. Tiger's like, from what it sounded like to me, Tiger felt, this is my opinion, that he was coming in to replace and be the primary. Yeah. And it would be the last time.
Well, I wanted to spill some tea here on Kenya, Carl, and Tiger. So Kenya and Carl are actually poly lifestyle coaches. And they have been featured on an episode of Dr. Phil. Mm-hmm. And you were wondering why this was showing up in our queue the other day, that show Extreme Love.
Oh, yeah.
They were on Extreme Love as coaches for a woman who wanted to explore taking multiple partners. And on that show, they made it very clear that both of them, while married, take their own love interests.
And they're fine with that. And that's good. Yeah, but yeah. I don't think Tiger signed. I think Tiger signed up for a different boat. I think he took a ticket and he got in the wrong line.
What's really interesting to me with this dynamic is that Kenya seems to, well, at least on the show, she has a problem with Tiger's mom in particular not approving of this lifestyle.
I can't imagine how your mom or my mom would feel about either of us being in a lifestyle like that.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to accept. There's a reason it's not seeking normal husband. Seeking regular wife.
Seeking average husband.
There's a reason they make shows about these things because it's an extreme level of a lifestyle.
I mean,
I'd say, in my opinion, I'm not trying to
that's
shame
the whole point
anybody
of TLC.
for it. But yeah, they take something that's a little bit more to the right or the left of a certain situation. Like, that's a little much. So let's record it. So it might take a lot for some people to deal with.
But Tiger's mom, I mean, have they not spent any holidays or birthdays
it sounds
together?
like she's just talks to him on the phone and they don't.
And that's it?
That's from speculation alone from the episodes. But the way he's like, I talked to my mom, she's not coming to the wedding. But it's almost like, well, she never was going to come to the wedding in the first place.
I mean, they can't get legally married because she's legally married to Carl. But if they want to have some sort of commitment celebration, I think Tiger deserves that, especially if he's getting the boot.
But here's the thing: she's ready to jump into her next relationship, which is going to put Tiger in his own room, in his own space. She flat out says, "I love being in love, just not with you anymore. I love being in love."
She also said, I think it was in episode 3, that she never breaks things off with a partner.
Right.
It's like she just collects. Right.
It's their responsibility to leave the relationship.
I guess if they want to.
I had said something along the lines of she has detachment issues. Like, she can't end a relationship, and let's say if a relationship were to end, it's not her fault. It's that person's fault. And
well, I don't necessarily think it's that. I don't see her putting 100% of any marital issues on Carl. But it seems like when she's done being intimate with that person, you are now a friend.
Welcome to roommatehood.
Right. And you can split the cable bill now.
Yeah. And so they jump into this whole, she's like, I'm going to go get I am ready for another husband, or whatever. And Tiger's like, oh, I don't really like that. I'd like to get married. And it's like, bro, I get what I feel like maybe you think if you go and you have this marriage ceremony, she's going to remember how much and all she loves you and the lust is all still there and it's going to be great. But it's not. She's straight up asked you about 6 times, why are we even talking about a marriage? Because when they were going to get the house, she's like, well, I want to talk about the marriage. She's like, why are we talking about this right now? Because in her mind, she's like, it's an unnecessary thing. That every step of the way, it could be she stubbed her toe in the morning. Ugh, I stubbed my toe. Why are we even having a wedding? Because when she says when the mom's not coming, well, why are we going to have a wedding if your family's not going to be there my family's going to be there?
I kind of understand that, though.
It's not for her. It's for him.
Yeah.
And that's and again, when he says this is selfish to when she won't discuss it, it is selfish because she's doing this not for him anymore. Now she's moved on. She's looking somewhere else, and he's in the background. And that's my opinion on the subject.
Well, and I see Carl has this security, right? He's the legal husband. They have a business together. They have kids together. Carl has a lot of stability here. What does Tiger have?
He's getting his own room.
He's getting bunk beds.
Yeah, there's so much room for activities. No, I don't. But that's the thing, and I feel like this is where I would go, where the onus ends up on Tiger to realize he's not happy in this relationship.
It's been 10 years. Like that's longer than we've been together.
Yeah, but we didn't spice up our relationship.
No, but what I'm saying is like that's a lot of time lost, I guess.
There are plenty of people together for a lot. There are people who've gotten divorced and remarried in their 80s. That's happened. Yeah. And the fact of the matter, it doesn't feel to me like Tiger's straight up down for this relationship. I think he only is because Carl is done with the intimate aspect of it. So he's well, I mean, I know they probably still have their things, but
I don't know.
It seems like she only is sexually active mainly with one person.
What did they call Tiger? The primary
husband.
No, the primary intimate partner for the last 5 years. So I don't know if she is being intimate with Carl. And that's another thing I am wondering about Tiger. He gets relegated to his own room. She has a new intimate partner.
She said, she's like, I don't love that. Like, I'm not in love with you anymore.
I think Tiger thinks that this marriage is going to fix the issue.
That's what I've been saying. This is what he thinks. Oh, no. Again.
And she's moving on.
Yeah. If she even goes through with this marriage, in my opinion, it is going to just be for his saving face, and that's it.
She's saying you don't have to, like, leave, but you do have to leave my bedroom.
It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. It's like, we're moving on, and you can hang on for the ride and enjoy your room, I'm assuming, rent-free, or he can talk about his stocks or whatever it is that he does.
From what I've gathered,
they pool their finances.
I think so.
Well, you can't.
They don't really talk about finances on this show.
Well,
actually.
And I don't necessarily think most situations you really need to talk about finances, because if you're going into it assuming all the people involved are spouses, and generally spouses that come in on equal terms or semi-equal terms are just naturally pooled. Like, unless one came in and it was super rich versus not, in which case there's probably a different, like, schism of finances. They probably all came in around the same amount and they just pool their finances.
Yeah. Let's talk about Elisa and Mike.
She's the worst.
From Los Angeles, California.
And it shows.
Santa Monica.
So Santa Monica.
My first note is Mike. Ooh, boy.
What are they? Yeah, my first note. She is horrible.
Mike and Elisa met at probably the only music festival Mike has ever been to.
This is what I said to Sarah. I'm like, she definitely goes to a lot of music festivals. He was dragged to one music festival, met Elisa, and then probably has not gone to a single music festival ever since.
Probably.
Like, I know festival people. I grew up with people who go to, we knew in California, I knew people who went to Coachella, and they went to all those, like, they go to Vegas and, like, go to, like, Electric Daisy Carnival, like, all those things. And there's a certain kind of crowd that digs that. this guy.
So music festivals are not my thing either. I went to It's Not Dead Fest, like when I was trying to be cool before we met, and I threw up in a porta potty.
Well, and what also...
I feel like Mike is like, okay, I tried to be cool this one time, and...
He seems very rigid as a person, which is fine. I mean, but he's like straight tie kind of guy.
And he's like, oh, so this is loosening up? Let my wife bang other dudes?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I look at him and I feel like he looks like he's about to cry
all the time. And
she is just so callous about the way that she conducts herself.
Well, okay, so Elisa cheated on Mike before they got married. But having multiple partners, she says, isn't about just sex for her. She cheated because she developed a deep emotional connection with someone. But
right.
She's on dating apps now because that didn't work out. And she wants to bring dudes home when Mike goes away, say on like a bachelor party or something, so she can bang them behind his back. But it's definitely not about just sex.
And she was like... I feel like at one point she was like, oh, it sounds like he just wants to hook up. And she's like, yeah, I mean, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, she was mad. She was upset that the dude... So to me, watching like Chara go on dates, watching Elisa go on dates, if you are a dude that is just looking to like get some, why not go on a date with a married woman?
That's like, no, the dude that she went on a date with was straight up... Like in really creepy, in my opinion, the way that they were talking. He was just like, I've had sex with many married women. Like, okay, old notch on the belt, fella. And it's like, but you come across that situation, and this is probably one of the things that made Ashley Madison so popular. And it's that, like, oh, there's some level of like kink almost to, oh, it's a married person, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like that would get sucked right out the window when she's like, yeah, but this is just my thing. Like I want to get with other people, but I'm married to my super lovable, adorable husband.
Shocking though. Mike's mom doesn't like Elisa.
Just like it hurts me to watch the two of them together.
It hurts me that this surprises her.
She's like, oh, it's so weird that Mike's mom isn't down with the sickness on this whole relationship. Like, and it just, you know what it is? It wouldn't be so bad if the way that she composed herself the entire time wasn't just like, yeah, I don't know, I'm just gonna do it. Like, and when they're talking on their confessionals, like, you can see he'll look over at her while he only at the times like he's dead ass at the camera, and then he'll look over when he's being like, and it's not just because Elisa wants to have sex with other men, it's because we want to have this polyandrous relationship. And it's like,
he said reading literature helped. So I'm really excited. If you guys are still just trying to make this show work, at least hang on until we get the confrontation between Elisa and Mike's mom.
I don't know how
they're going wine tasting.
I don't even
They're
know.
Gonna get drunk. It's gonna be awesome.
I don't know how you couldn't be hanging on this show. It's no more or less of a train wreck than any of the other shows, and it's.
I know, but like after MILF Manor and I don't know, TLC's really letting their hair down lately with these shows.
About that show, that's depraved.
MILF Manor was a step too far. I watched every episode, but it was a step too far.
But I want to see this showdown. Well, it's like, and I mean, like, it's one of those situations where the mom is straight up, Mike's mom is like, yeah, I'm concerned and I have questions. Mm-hmm. The way that you would someone who was, I don't know, entering into a cult of some kind. Like, I'm concerned for my son
kind
because
of like what Mike looks like is happening to him.
He's blinking Morse code symbols in the confessionals. And it's like, it really does feel he's just there. I don't know what I feel he's financially stable. What's her job again?
Okay, see,
social
I know
media user?
No, she's a social media manager. I forget what he does, but he has like not a real job, but like a more run-of-the-mill job, maybe.
something that makes money.
Yeah, because where they live, you guys, they live in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. They are making good money.
Part of me, and I'll just say it, part of me feels like she's keeping him around for rent because I'm not saying social media manager is not a high-paying job, but she doesn't seem like the 9-to-5 kind of worker with her free-spirited attitude, which it's just, and well, you already cheated on him, but I had a deep emotional connection with him. Like, okay, cool. And now you want to have more people involved in this relationship. And you're constantly coming up with scenarios that gets your husband out of the house so that you can. Because he was like, I don't want you bringing anyone back here to the bedroom. And she's like, oh, okay, but what about if you're out of town? Like, remember you're going out of town? Remember you're going out of town? What if you're out of town?
I feel like that's what cheating is, right? Like,
if this was a situation,
don't worry, I'll do it behind your back.
Right, but that's exactly. It's like right, but I said I didn't want anyone in the bedroom. It's like right, but you're not there. Right.
She put a singular photo of herself from their wedding on her dating profile.
Maybe that's her subtle way of being like, I'm married, but I'm married.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like her. She's not the kind of person I would hang out with. And it's just the way that she composes herself. It's so callous and uncaring for anyone else's emotional well-being but her own.
I mean, her parents said as much, right? They were like, oh, yeah, typical Elisa.
Lisa's
like,
gonna lease,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Let's move on to Kim, Dustin, and Vincent, who I have the least amount of notes on these three because Kim and Dustin really seem suited. My first note is they are truly suited for this lifestyle. Vincent is wondering how he got himself into this mess.
I have 3 notes.
Okay.
This guy seems like he invented polyandry.
Yeah.
Followed by sometimes you see a couple and you don't, or a throuple, and you don't have any issues with either of them in the context of the show because they seem like they're perfectly comfortable there and they're not hurting anybody.
So in episode 1, it seemed lovely, right?
Yeah.
Like all of their kids were getting along.
It didn't seem like it's like this is just this. That's the kind of thing that it's like this doesn't seem suited for this show where everyone else seems to be aggressively being in some kind of box.
But I'm thinking that Vincent, he really reminds me of Christine from Sister Wives. Christine came in; she wanted to be the third wife.
He seems also like he wanted to not be. He wanted to be the main dude. That's to me, right?
No, see, to me, it was more like he was fine coming in with all of the partnering already established. Similar to Christine. He doesn't want to be replaced is what he is having the problem with. And that a lot of people have said about Christine, and I think that that's a fair assessment, is when you're the final partner, you're always the new shiny toy. But if now because Vincent has never experienced Kim, at least I don't think, has never experienced her seeking out another partner, and now he is, and that's got to sting a little bit. Dustin's totally cool with everything.
My last note was soup.
Would you invite, I mean, we live in Florida, I'm from California, so this would just never, I love soup, but I would never be like, hey, date, are you feeling like some soup?
It's not even that. It's stupid and it's a dumb note, and I am just going to acknowledge that. It's the fact that they seemed hyper focused on the soup through that scene.
You know what, though?
And then they brought up soup again like 4 more times.
Maybe that's Vincent's favorite meal, and maybe they were trying to be like, hey, come over. We're making it kind of look like taco soup or something, because there was like cheese. Maybe it was a chili.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Well, chili's chili.
Oh, yeah.
Chili's not a soup.
I digress. Maybe that's his like, they know the way to my heart is soup. I don't know.
This seemed very hyper-focused on the soup.
It was very much, we got to go get started on the soup.
But I don't have any real issues with them. And even throughout the 3 episodes, there's not much that stands out. they're pretty much just having other people reacting to their situation, where it's like, oh, I'm not sure I agree with it. Like the hippie commune they went to.
Well, yeah, her mom, Kim's mom, or her family, I don't think is very involved in her life because she's chosen this lifestyle, which is sad. But it doesn't seem to be affecting her quite as much as, say, like Tiger's mom not being involved in his life. So I guess it all really depends on how much your parents' opinions matter to you.
A lot of it has to do with how close are you with your family. Some people just aren't close with their family.
Yeah.
Some people, it wouldn't matter if they had a regular wedding, if they were going to show up to the wedding.
I think Kim even said that her parents viewed Dustin as having, like, poisoned her or, like, I don't know, corrupted her
into being the matriarch of the relationship.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, but again, I think that Dustin goes out and has his own partners too. I think that.
Yeah, but here's the thing: as far as it leans for most of these people, that's just speculation. Like,
except for Kenya,
that's what I said.
Carl,
where they said that.
Yeah.
But other than that, and we know Mike's not going out and getting some strange. It's just. We can only assume that that's happening, but he seems so hippie, seems so crunchy granola that I think that he's just like, oh man, it's okay. And then like he's also in the corner being like, I enjoy the way that you're having sex with my wife. Continue. Continue.
Do you think he's a watcher?
I'm just gonna stroke my turtle necklace.
The turtle necklace. Oh. Okay, I have a lot to say about our final family unit, Shara, Patrick, and Noble. So, this situationship makes me sad and confused. What are your high level thoughts on them?
As boy meets girl, like boy marries girl. Girl gets into horrific accident that leaves her mostly paralyzed, if not entirely, for the most part.
I went back and rewatched that.
Boy falls out of love because he had to take care of girl, but doesn't want to leave girl, but leaves her incredibly emotionally and physically lacking in any sort of affection whatsoever. That's my long and the short of their relationship.
Okay, so Shara and Patrick have been together for 13 years. Shara is 43 and Patrick is 47. The only reason why I am mentioning ages is because it's important coming up in just a moment. Shara has been with Noble for 2 years. He's 39. At some point very early on in their relationship, Shara got into a horrific car accident that left her severely injured. She said she had to learn how to speak and be mobile again. And then Patrick said that this is when the intimate part of their relationship started to wither.
It must have really been hard for him to go through all of that. Mm-hmm. You know, she was just lazing around the house, being all paralyzed.
Shara says they were in a sexless marriage for almost 10 years. They've been together for 13. The vast majority of their time together has been non-intimate. But they are very, she calls him babe. She's always holding his hand.
Yeah, but I think that's
bizarre dynamic.
There's a bunch of things that could be that, but it's all, speculation about maybe she's trying to get back what she had. Maybe the accident was such a bad time for her that she's emotionally stunted and attached to what was around her at the time, so she never wants to lose that, even if it's actively running away from her. Like, when you have something so traumatic like an accident like that, it's very possible for her to just she's like, I don't care what's going on, you're still my husband, I love you, like, babe, even though he's like, ew, don't touch me, like, and that's huge. Like, she probably has a lot of unresolved trauma that she's just kind of pushing through, trying to get herself going, like, to keep, you know what I mean? Like, this guy doesn't, it almost seems like he really doesn't want anything to do with her except for to shit talk her future brother husband.
It's so weird. Like I need to, know more about Patrick, because so Shara gets into this accident And she says that it leaves her feeling undesirable, but instead of taking care of her and, I don't know, reassuring her, Patrick is like, hey, just go out and, you know,
no, why don't you go find
around.
someone to hang out with?
Let's do that instead.
That would,
instead of, I don't know, working on what
of
might
our
not
issues.
be working.
How dare you?
Patrick doesn't want to sleep with Shara, but he also doesn't want her treating Noble as anything more than a person that comes in to have sex with his wife. He has said more than once that he's supposed to just stay in the basement, and that's been the issue. Is that
that's his.
He dares to come upstairs.
He doesn't know his place. He doesn't know this stuff. It's like, bro, like, and I get I don't know. I don't get any of this, so I'm just gonna try to get a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he moved in because the pandemic started, so he moved in like right away.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and so there's bound to be some growing pains in that situation. Except for at that juncture, you've already been in a sexless marriage for many, many years.
Yeah, because they've only been together for 2 years, Noble and Shara, and it was 4 years ago that Patrick told her, I don't want to sleep with you, so go sleep with someone else. Okay, so Shara, she's 43 now, and she it doesn't really seem like she wants to have a kid that badly. It kind of seems like she's like, I'm 43. If I don't have one now, this is probably my last chance.
I feel bad for her.
I do too. But she can't have a child with Noble because they both are carriers for sickle cells. And Patrick, he has 5 kids, and he's 47. He said that he didn't want to father the baby. But speaking of Patrick's age and his kids, something that was just glossed over, and I rewatched, Patrick says he has 5 kids. I forget how young the youngest one was, but the oldest one is 35, which means that Patrick was 12 when his oldest child was born.
And I think to even speculate on how that happened, YouTube would not allow this video to go through. So that's a little. There's a lot of wrong things in that.
Yeah. But yes, I was like, no, I must have had those numbers wrong. But no, Patrick, 47, and he says he has a 35-year-old child.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So now Shara is going on dates and just coming in hot.
Straight out, right out the bat, like, hey, oh my God, it's been so much fun. I know we just threw axes or something at a bar. Like, this is really hippie. But I can't wait.
Salsa dancing.
Yeah, I can't wait to tell you. That was a great dance. Now, I want to have a kid. And clock's ticking, bucko. And
if she's happy with Noble and Patrick, why doesn't she just get like a sperm donor?
Or adopt a kid.
Or adopt, yeah.
I'm a big proponent of adopting kids. I mean, there's plenty of kids that could use it.
Yeah. I don't think she necessarily needs to bring in a whole... Because I don't know if Patrick can handle it.
That's the question. Like, does she want multiple husbands? Or did this Patrick, like, push her into having a second one? And then, like, what's he going to do?
I don't know. They both drive Teslas, though.
I feel, and then there's a part of me that says there's a lot, overly logical part of me that wonders if there was a lot of money that might have gotten put through because of this accident for one reason or another, because they don't go into the particulars as to what happened, and I'm wondering if that lot of money bought the whole family Teslas. And I wonder if that lot of money
they have a very nice house in Atlanta.
Yeah, wonder if that might be why
cheap,
old husband's not there for her anymore, but still keep kicking around with whoever you want.
Well,
I'm just going to keep the bills paid.
It's expensive to get divorced. It's expensive to live on your own. That's the other interesting theme.
Well, that's what I see with some of these couples. Yeah, big thruples or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like. It's like, I guess it's just as, or it's like, maybe I'll just hang out here for a few months till I find someone else to date and move in, or I guess I'll hang out until it's uncomfortable.
I mean, Carl and Kenya, there is a like partnership there. There's an affection there. It seems to me with Shara and Patrick that there is hurt on Shara's part. I think Patrick has caused her hurt.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And that makes me sad for her.
And that's why I don't know, on a psychological level, of which I have no credentials
I don't
whatsoever.
think that this was her idea at all.
No, I think that she's just, there's he begrudgingly did take care of her in a time where he basically made it known afterward and probably during that he wanted nothing to do with that whole situation. And she was helpless. And so that, coupled with a lot of undiagnosed trauma, can put your brain being like, hey, I need emotionally to have this person in my life, because without them, I was literally had to be hand-fed, cleaned. Like, she had to learn to walk again.
How do you not carry resentment, though, for...
Well, I don't know, because I've never been in a situation where I've had to completely rely on somebody else, because there's all... You could feel almost bad that you put them in that situation.
But
it depends on what level you like. Oh, I'm paralyzed, so it's my fault. He has to take care of me. It depends on how you look at the situation, and it's sad. Either way, it's sad. But those are just some of the things that make me wonder.
It's a lot to sign up for. Undoubtedly, I'm sure that, I don't know if she has family living in the area, but I'm sure that there was like medical staff to help out. I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Well,
but
we don't know anything about that situation.
We don't. But that's also what you sign up for when you get married.
In sickness and in health.
Yeah.
Right. You were sick the other day. I helped you.
I'm every bit this geriatric pregnancy.
I begrudgingly helped you.
Right. Like, how do you not, like, I would be pissed as shit at you. Yeah.
Oh, don't be mad at me for someone else getting me into an accident.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, how do you...
Oh, no, being pissed about the I don't want to be with you anymore.
Or like... having to take care of you just makes you so unattractive to me.
I mean, look at Stephen Hawking cheated on his wife with the nurse that had to take care of him when he was like at the end. So like it's not uncommon that things like that happen in the other direction.
I mean, it's just there is so much that they are not talking about. They are by far the most fascinating.
And I'm wondering if that's what's keeping this part of that show alive. Because there's things that I feel like if they talked about how they really went to the long and the short of how everything was doled out, it probably wouldn't be as interesting a show. Because we're waiting around for, it's probably going to be a long wait for a train that doesn't show up to get some of the answers that we want. Yeah. But I'm still going to wait around till the end of the season to find out more about the accident that we're probably never going to hear about until maybe they go on social media about something, or just more from these couples. Yeah.
They're the most interesting to me. They're, I don't want to say my favorite, but they're probably like my favorite to watch because, I mean, they're not, they don't appear to be toxic, but the circumstances that they found themselves in, how could you not?
Except for when, I do think, is Patrick the first husband?
Yeah.
I do think that he's kind of a piece of shit. And I say that because he doesn't treat her very well. And when she goes, I want to have a baby, he's straight up turned around, well, I want nothing to do with that situation. But that was your knee-jerk response.
Also, like, Carl is, like, besties with Tiger.
Oh, yeah.
And it, like, really annoys Patrick that Noble would, like, dare come up from out of the basement, like... Can I use the bathroom?
No, because they're my toys, and you're playing with them, and that's what it is. And I don't know, it's almost childish.
Yeah.
I don't want it anymore, but I don't want to give it to you. You know, I don't like. I keep it over there, but I don't want it moved.
It's almost like I feel the same way about him that I feel about Cody. Is like if you love them enough to let them go, right? Like if you don't want to be with them, if you have no interest, like an intimate marriage or what have you, that's okay. You are not compelled to do anything against your will, but let them free them. Let them go so they can find happiness.
Even on the other spectrum of with Cody and them, it's an ego trip. It's feeds his ego. At least we know how that works. women famously don't have the ego. You know what I mean? Like, while they do have ego, men are where the ego just goes insane, and women generally don't have that level of ego.
Yeah.
So what are they feeding with the? That's why I'm trying to figure out what each person is getting out of. I don't know what the women are getting out of this, and it's a different animal. It's the men. It's purely egotistical, and you can tell. Look at Seeking Sister Wife and Cody. It's all like an ego trip, and it feels that way. And whatever you want to say about that, and you don't agree with me, you do agree with me, that's all up to you. But on this one, it's like women just don't have that need to feed
that
the
being
ego.
that way for maybe Elisa, but
well, for her, like, yeah. So there's an ass for every seat.
Yeah,
but
yeah, none of the other women strike me as
they're independent for the most part. Besides Patrick's wife, Shara. Besides her, she seems very codependent.
Yeah.
But like I'm not. I just don't. I actually I can at least see what she's getting, the intimacy that she so desperately craves from somebody else. At least I get that because she craves intimacy, and the person who she seems to love the most wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So I get that, and I see that, but I see that more as like a gigolo situation. Like literally, that's what he wants. Patrick wants whoever it is to just live in the basement and come up to service the wife, and then go back down to your hole in the basement, and that's what we'll call you when you need you. So, I don't know where there doesn't seem to be a unified goal for all of these people. So I'm interested to see where they're going to go with it.
I actually am enjoying the show.
I
don't know.
I'm watching it.
Yeah. So. You guys, let us know what you think down in the comments as always. But I think for me, I'm most fascinated by Shara, Patrick, and Noble because I just think there's so much more to that story that I have so many questions.
We'll see.
Thank you guys for watching. As always, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at realiteasquad, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.